Good afternoon and welcome to Orient Live here from the Barrow Group Stadium. Now you're going to have to bear with us this afternoon because we're all having to breathe in a little bit tightly as we wear the kits from our childhood, because it is of course Retro Day here in E10 and the O's are facing Barrow AFC and they are looking to pick up back-to-back home wins, or 3 in a row in fact, for the first time in 12 months, and hopefully we can do that this afternoon. But first, before we go any further, let's take a look at some of the beautiful kits you got on show here. Glenn, who are you wearing this evening?
I've got the Leyton Orient shirt from 1991-1992 season, and it was actually when I first came to the club, and I wore this exact shirt in a trial game, and it was obviously very lucky for me because I managed to stay at the club for a bit longer.
So yours has got memories, Glenn. What have you got on there?
So mine's the 2003-2004 one, and I was given this by a group of my mates when I moved out of London in 2004. So I was given this when I was 15 years old, and it still fits like a glove. So I don't know how I managed to stay the same shape for the last 17 years, but I'll take it.
All the viewers at home can work out how old you are now as well.
When you say fits like a glove, a surgical glove.
I'm of course wearing the first shirt I ever owned, the promotion winning shirt from 04-06, so hopefully that can set a good omen moving forward. But now, before we do anything else, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the O's this afternoon. In goal for Leyton Orient, as always, number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux. Number 3, Connor Wood. Number 6, Adam Thompson. Number 7, Paul Smith. 11, Theo Archibald. 16, Aaron Drynan. Number 18, and wearing the armband, Darren Pratley. 19, Omar Beckles. 20, Ruel Sotiriou. Number 25, Shadrach Ogie. And number 26, Hector Kiprianou. And on the bench for the O's this afternoon, Sam Sargent, Harry Smith, Frank Nublé, Otis Khan, Matt Young, Ethan Coleman, and George Ray. So just the one change from Tuesday night's victory over Harrogate Town as Paul Smith comes back in for Otis Khan. But first of all, Andrew, this is just such a fantastic opportunity. The sun's shining. Hopefully we can make it 3 wins on the bounce. Yeah,
Sun shining well, it's a sellout crowd. Hopefully the stands will be packed to the rafters as well. It's like just doesn't get better than this, does it really, on a day like today? But also coming in here with such confidence, such the form that we've been in, 2 wins on the bounce. We're 6th in the form table in the last 5 games in League 2 as well. It's been a great turnaround for the club since Richie Wellens has come here. So really good opportunity to kind of stamp our authority as well on the league as well. So we'll hopefully get another win under our belt. Barrow haven't been in the best run of form of late, so yeah, another good opportunity for another 3 points.
It certainly is, and of course the O's are unbeaten this month, which is crazy. Also unbeaten under Richie Wellens, but also Barrow have a new manager in the hot seat as of recently. And are you at all worried that might give them a bounce this afternoon?
It could. He'll certainly sort of get into them and tell them the way he wants them to play. They're below us in the league. They need points. They're desperate. They need a trapdoor. So they would be happy with a draw. Obviously they want to win, but they're just going to try. They would have studied our last couple of games. They're going to try and just cut us out any threat early. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try and pressurise us higher up the pitch, because they know if they sit back and we get higher up the pitch with our front 3, front 4, front 5 after Tuesday night, we cause problems to any teams in this league, let alone teams at the bottom of the league. So I fully expect them to sort of try and get us higher up the pitch in our defensive third and try and nick the ball there to stop us playing. I would think there would be a few dark arts going on as well, knowing Phil Brown. They'll try every single trick in the book, either to slow the crowd, sort of slow the game down, get the crowd turning against us. He'll try everything.
Well, some early goals would be good to combat that, but it is of course a sellout crowd here at the Barrow Group Stadium, and if you weren't lucky enough to get a ticket and are watching along live on YouTube, don't forget today, as it's an international break, can be watched by worldwide fans, UK and international, so head over to the Orient website now to pick up your match pass to watch along. And looking at the team now though, Andrew, Paul Smith coming in, there was a few head scratches when he was on the bench after that probably the goal of the season he scored last Saturday. But he's a player that is always good to see in the starting 11.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there was some head scratching. We kind of said on Tuesday that it wasn't totally unexpected. He's kind of struggled to be able to play those Saturday, Tuesday. So getting him in the team is a real positive. I think we're better with him in the team, undoubtedly. That goal last Saturday, we actually discussed it on air about whether or not it was goal of the season or not. I think we came to the conclusion Harry Smith just pips it for now, but we'll talk about that towards the end of the season. But we're a better team with Paul Smith in there. He was sort of average for the first 40 minutes of last week, and after he scored his goal, he got his confidence back. He came out like we did actually as a team, all guns blazing in the second half. And we really enjoyed ourselves against Rochdale in that second half. So we're a better team with him in it. It'll be interesting to see how Barrow kind of like organise themselves this afternoon, because they know how to keep clean sheets, they know how to stifle any sort of attacking threat as well. So hopefully a player like Smith though can really get like in behind them and cause them real trouble.
I feel slightly sorry for Otis Khan, who finds himself on the bench, because I thought he played really well on Tuesday night coming into the lineup, and I thought he was instrumental in that first half. Certainly, okay, we didn't score any goals, but he was instrumental in a few of them big chances we created.
And it is, of course, Otis who drops out. And I was going to say, we've gone from, you look back to last month where we couldn't buy a goal, and now we've got Harry Smith back on the score sheet. Drynan scored 2 again Tuesday night. Ruel's got 5 goals in 6. Otis can't put in a performance like he did on Tuesday. And all of a sudden, Richie doesn't know who his best front 4, I think it is, really.
I think he does, because he's picked them today.
Is that
no, but do you know what? What a lovely headache to have as a manager. Yeah. You'd far more have that headache than players out injured, players out of form, players, just not at it. What a lovely headache to have. Like I always say on this show, scoring a goal in football is the hardest thing in the game, to score a goal. We're creating so many chances. All the front players are scoring. They're back on the sort of score sheet, and they're full of confidence. What the team's done and what the manager's managed to do in a sort of short space of time is remarkable. I just think this is, everyone's fully expecting a win today, aren't we? The sun's shining, like Andrew said. It's a lovely day. Hopefully we'll have a bumper crowd and we fully expect to win, but just purely because of how the tide has turned and how we're playing. We look very, very good, and it's such a shame that this is happening now at this stage of the season. If it was 10 games before and we got into this, we would be winning with a great shout of going to the playoffs.
I hope you haven't jinxed that there for us, Glenn. But picking up on the strikers, getting on the score sheet and having that confidence, and those 2 goals on Tuesday night for Aaron Drynan would have been absolutely massive for him. He's got 15 now for the season, and he's someone that hopefully can push on even more in this second half of the season now.
Yeah, massively so. Second half of the season is
It
generous.
feels like
only 8 games left, but
it feels like his second half has just started.
Do you know what? It's funny because the last 2 seasons, we had Danny Johnson here last season, where he had this blistering start to the season, and then after Christmas it kind of tailed away for him. He still got 20 goals in the season, and we congratulated him at the end of the season for doing so. I hope that Drynan's able to do that. I hope that Smith's able to get 20 goals. Whether or not they do that, we are running out of games in that respect. But it's kind of a shame, really, that we had such a good start to the season with 2 strikers scoring for fun. But it's good that that Sotirio now is coming to the fold and is scoring as well, because like Glenn says, these are good problems to have. We'll look back at the season and go, actually we had 3 players there in double figures for goals, and it was and that's to be applauded. So the 2 goals that he scored on Tuesday, the first one was a really, really good finish, and the second one was was a goal where a striker just it gets on the end of it, and those opportunities come when they've just scored one. And it is funny how they just drop sometimes to strikers like that after not scoring for as many games that he hadn't. To come back with 2 goals in such a fashion in what was still a crucial game. I think last Saturday we were thinking, okay, that's nice, that's good. We've done our job. Feel a bit more confident about staying up, but we still really had to win on Tuesday to kind of put that little bit more of a cushion between us and the drop.
And looking at, we do feel a little bit further away from it now, but a big part to maybe stopping that rot was stopping the goals leaking in as well. Richie Wellens has picked up 2 clean sheets so far, the first coming at Hartlepool and then one on Tuesday night, of course. Haven't kept a clean sheet here at home for a little while. Would you like to see us maybe keep that run from Tuesday night going and not leak any poor goals?
They'll be desperate for that. on Tuesday we were very fortunate to keep a clean sheet. I thought, okay, Harrogate have hit the bar and they had a few other chances, but the fact is we kept a clean sheet, so that's great. That'll build a little bit of confidence at the back as well. We just need to tighten up in areas. I think the two centre-halves need to talk a lot more to each other, because on Tuesday one was doing one thing, the other was doing the opposite. It was almost like they'd never played together, which I found bizarre. I think if they just tighten that up, they've probably been working on it in training. They've got every opportunity today to get another clean sheet, and we always say, don't concede, you don't lose a game. So what a great platform to build on, especially with the strike force we've got.
And well, looking at then obviously following on from Tuesday, it's the same back four that started on Saturday, and it's now the same back four that's starting 3 games in a row. Do you think that playing a run of games together and that understanding, as you say, not know who's going where, hopefully we'll see that ironed out as they play those more games together?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, you want a consistent back four. You look at a great, I've said it before, you look at a great Arsenal team from the 90s when they had the lowest conceded goals ever. That back four played together nearly every single week apart from suspensions, and they were solid. Everyone knew that when a ball's going in one area, the other 3 knew what position to take off of that first defender. It's just getting that understanding and knowledge of where your players are going to be, or if you're going for something, you haven't got to worry where your partner, your defensive partner is going to be, because you know what position they're in, so you can go and attack a ball rather than, I want to go and attack it, but if I miss it, are they going to be covering me? All them sort of things go through your head in them split seconds in the game. But the more they play together, the more of a better understanding they have, and they start to trust each other. And when you start keeping clean sheets, it becomes a habit, and it's like a goal scorer scoring goals. That confidence is like, it really gets in your mind that like clean sheets is almost like scoring a goal for a defence and a goalkeeper. It just becomes a real mental thing, and you absolutely I used to love keeping clean sheets.
How many did you keep in your time? We'll move on.
I'll tell you after.
We've spoken about the defenders, we've spoken about the attackers, but one man who was key for the whole team performance on Tuesday night was Darren Pratley, Andrew. And what did you make of that performance?
Yeah, I was really pleased for him, because for large parts of this season he's been just slightly not the player that we know that he can be, and I know we've got some highlights of him against Harrogate coming up on the screen, and he was really instrumental. He played brilliantly. He kind of did everything that we know a player like him can do, which is win the ball in midfield, start attacks, also get back and defend as well, and everything that you'll see on the screen of his highlights against Harrogate does all 3 of those things. He also gets an assist for Drynan's goal with a headed through ball, which was quite thrilling, but also it's kind of another one of those things where it's a bit of a shame that it kind of like we're putting these kind of performances in now, because if we had that consistency, and this goes across the board, that if we had that consistency throughout the season, then we'd be much higher in the table. But I was really pleased for him, because I know that there's been fans have got on his back a little bit over the course of the season. He's been in and out of the side a little bit over parts of the season as well. But he put on a performance on Tuesday in what was, still, I say it again, a really crucial 3 points for us.
He was instrumental in Ruel's goal as well.
Yeah.
He won the ball higher up the pitch, and I think that shocked a few of the supporters how far forward he played, and he's great at doing that. He can anticipate things, he knows where the ball's going to drop, and he can sort of get up against the forward, or his opposite number in midfield, and win the ball and then get us on the attack. And he was so good at that Tuesday night. We see it in the clips. He was brilliant at it, and he's not an old man, he's 35, 36, he's got the energy. Let's hope he's still got the energy in his legs today to pull out another performance like he did.
And not only his own performance, it felt as though he almost pulled up the performance of those around him, especially Hector Cipriano, who has maybe had a bit of a tough time in a struggling team, and he's been playing a lot of games, but he stepped up as well alongside Pratley.
Oh, he definitely did, and that's down to the shape of the team, with Pratley playing a bit further forward. Hector, we know how good he is on the ball. He does that pivot role very well. He'll get the ball, he'll turn, he'll pass the ball, nice and simple. He likes doing that. With Pratley playing further forward, it frees up that bit of space for him, So as an opposition number, you think Do I go tight to him? Well, no, Pratley's running that way, we're going to sit back a bit. So they just give him that bit more space. So he's got that bit of extra time, but he's making use of the ball. He wasn't giving it his way as much, and he kept us ticking over. I was really, really pleased for him.
I think that was, it kind of goes back to what we were just saying earlier about good problems to have as well, because Coleman and Kyprianou were kind of doing nothing wrong, but they weren't like, them two together weren't like producing the kind of performances that was getting us goals. And actually what Pratley has done in the last couple of games is provide a little bit more of that attacking impetus, which I didn't expect to see coming. But and Richie Wellens said in his post-match that he'd love to play Coleman as well, but these are good problems to have. The fact that the manager's come out after the game and said, I want to give these people, all these players, game time. The fact that there isn't space for him and for Frank Nublet and for Harry Smith are good problems to have, and Pratley's just another one to add in that mix.
Well, there are certainly a lot of selection headaches for Mr. Wellens as he looks to pick his best 11. But one man who there's no headache whatsoever is a certain Lawrence Vigouroux, and we caught up with him earlier in the week to get his thoughts ahead of today's game.
Lawrence, thanks for joining us. Back-to-back wins and in the right direction again.
Yeah, definitely. I think we showed on Tuesday night that we can play in that style and pick up points. I think we played really well from front to back. Really, I think the front three pressed really well, and I think they set the tone for everyone else to follow them. And I think they couldn't live with us, especially in the first half. And then in the second half, we got the goals and kind of put the game to bed.
Keepers always love a clean sheet too, and us 2 in the last 4.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's quite a misleading stat. I think clean sheets because I have to rely a lot on my defenders and the midfield and the forwards as well, the whole team really. And it's a collective effort, and I think we've defended really well. I think in the last few games, and I think it's just reward for everyone involved that we've kept 2 clean sheets in the last 4, and I think hopefully that can continue looking forwards. Yeah, definitely. I think it always helps when we've got the same faces in front of me, because I think it just gives us continuity, and I think it helps me especially, knowing everyone's strengths and weaknesses of people in the back 4, and so it just helps. I know when to make the right passes and when not to make a pass. So I think that can only help, and it only makes us stronger, especially in defending.
Barrow in town on Saturday, a team fighting for their life as well.
Yeah, and I think they've got a new manager, so it'll be a tough game. I think every game's tough at this level, so hopefully we can get the 3 points and another clean sheet and just keep moving upwards in the table.
It's football for a fiver Saturday. We all know what it's like down at the Barrow Group Stadium when it's rocking, and hoping for another good atmosphere. Yeah,
definitely. I think we know what it's like earlier in the season. When we were beating teams quite comfortably. The atmosphere was fantastic. Obviously, of late, recently, it hasn't been as good, and hopefully, with the last few results we've picked up, we can get the crowd galvanised and have them enjoying football again. So I think that's all we can do on our part, and hopefully the crowd can get behind us.
Well, the sun was shining earlier in the week, and it's certainly shining here now as the O's are looking to pick up a much-wanted 3 points against Barrow. And let's now take a look at the opposition side for this afternoon's fixture. So in goal for Barrow, number 1, Paul Farman. Number 3, Patrick Brough. Number 4, Jason Taylor. Number 5 is a poet's dream, it's Matt Platt. Number 12, Josh Gordon. Number 15, Robbie Gotts. 24, Romeo Hutton. Number 25, Aaron Amadi Holloway. 27, Niall Canavan. And wearing the armband for Barrow, number 28, Ollie Banks. And number 30, it's not Wayne, but John Rooney. And on the bench, it's Josh Lillis, Josh Kay, Tom White, James Jones, Anthony Glennon, and Dimitri C. So we've spoken about them a little bit already, Andrew. They are around us. They probably still buzzing off of staying in the Football League for as long as they have. They're not an easy side to face, and we know that from our National League days as well.
Yeah, totally. And do you know what, though? This is a really, really big game for them, because they've still got to play Oldham, but if they lose today and Oldham win, which and I know these are all ifs and buts, but they're only then 6 points clear of the drop zone, which is the same position that we were in this time last week, right? And obviously it's great what we've been able to do, get a couple of wins and we lift ourselves further up the table. That's perfect for us. But Barrow's still got a lot of work to do to stay in this league, and they've got a new manager as well. So there'll be players in there that will be wanting to play, not just to keep their place in the side, but also to keep their you're looking at potentially keeping their league status as well. So I'm sure that Phil Brown will be getting them fired up. He's obviously a very experienced manager, Phil Brown. He'll want his players to give some sort of reaction today. So they're a tricky side to play against. They've kept 4 clean sheets in the last 7 games as well. So that's that's no mean feat. Like we were just saying about keeping clean sheets, it's not easy, but they've kept 4 in the last 7. One of them came against Scunthorpe when Scunthorpe had a player sent off after 22 minutes. So it does make things slightly easier, but they will be a tricky team to break down. So it'll be an interesting game, I think. Admittedly, they've drawn 3 of their last 7 0-0. So maybe not as interesting as we might want. But if we can put a couple of goals past them, then everyone will be going home very, very happy this evening.
Well, like you said a minute ago, like a nice early goal today would be. I think that's key, because we know they keep clean sheets and they're pretty strong defensively. If we can get that early goal, they have to attack us. They have to come out and attack us, which will play into our hands massively with our forwards and our attacking midfielders. So I think, like we say every single week, an early goal would be great. But I really think an early goal today in the first 10-15 minutes will be key in this game, and it'll be the deciding factor whether we go and score 3 over 4 or we have a 0-0.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to score 3 or 4, that's for sure. But we've got to talk about Phil Brown, because he is a manager of such pedigree. Most known probably for his half-time team talk on the pitch. Probably won't see that today. But he's managed at the highest level. He's going to know how to set his team out today.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, he's managed at the highest level. He's worked under Sam Allardyce when he was at Bolton. He's learnt off a good manager as well. Okay, in the last few years, he's not had the best managerial sort of career when he was at Southend and other places. He'll come in here. On his CV, he doesn't want a relegation. They've brought him in here to survive, keep him up. They get him away from that trapdoor. Whatever means that is. I spoke earlier about the dark arts. He is a pretty old school manager, but he's got new ideas as well. But he will be really, really focused on them not conceding today. And like I say, they'll be happy with a draw here because of the form we're in, and to get another point on the board. But I can see them being a really horrible team to play against. I don't think they're going to be free-flowing, beautiful football. I think they'll do everything they can. I expect them to hit a lot of long balls into our corners, get us turned around, make us push us back and run in the wrong way towards our own goal. That's what I expect from his kind of team. But he'll certainly get them riled up in the changing room, and they'll come out fast and they'll come out aggressive against us.
And that's the manager, but their skipper is a key player for them, Andrew. And it's Ollie Banks here who does wear the armband today. And is he one that you think we should maybe be looking out for?
Yeah, massively so. I mean, Ollie, you know how much I love people called Ollie B, but but he's a phenomenal player. He's got such good technical ability. 6'2", like he's a big guy, but with like such incredible technical ability. We'll see some of his highlights. He basically is probably playing in a team that is like he's probably too good for, actually, because you see some of the balls that he puts in and sprays around the pitch, and his teammates kind of let him down quite a lot of the time. He scored an unbelievable free kick in the FA Cup from about 35 yards, where it goes rifling into the top corner in that incredible game that Barrow played in the FA Cup earlier this season. He's a very, very good player, very, very dangerous player as well. He's the one to look out for. But if we keep him quiet, then we'll be like well on our way, because man for man, we're a better team than Barrow this afternoon. But Ollie Banks is certainly one that we need to be looking out for.
Well, that is enough of the opposition, because it's all about the O's this afternoon. And of course, don't forget, if you couldn't manage to get a ticket this afternoon, then don't worry. Today you can stream the match wherever you are. If you're an international or a UK fan, simply head over to the Orient website to pick up your match streaming pass to watch along with Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock. But now let's remind ourselves of the Orient side lining up to face Barrow this afternoon. So in goal for the O's, number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux. Number 3, Connor Wood. Number 6, Adam Thompson. Number 7, Paul Smith. 11, Theo Archibald. 16, Aaron Drynan. 18, Darren Pratley. 19, Omar Beckles. 20, Ross Tiriou. 25, Shadrach Oji. And number 26, Hector Kiprianou. And on the bench for Leyton Orient, Sam Sargent, Harry Smith, Frank Knouble, Otis Khan, Matt Young, Ethan Coleman and George Ray. And now Richie Wellens was actually out in the week on a fans podcast talking about how the end of this season, and we might be getting ahead of ourselves, but once we're safe, the end of this season, if you can put that run together, it's almost the start of next season's pre-season. And to continue the current run that we are on would be fantastic. We could win 3 games in a row for the first time in 12 months. And to do that today would be massive considering where we were weeks ago.
Oh, massively, yeah. And it just gives us that extra bit of breathing space, and hopefully the other results go our way as well. And we know the guys or the teams below us in the league, in the coming weeks, they're playing each other, so there'll be points, taking points off of each other. So the quicker we can get to that safety sort of whatever that magical number is, I don't know, but as quick as we can get there, like he says, he can then start to experiment with the team, with the shape, with the players who are out of contract, because okay, he's seeing them in training, although there's not been that many training days in the last 2 weeks, but he'll get to see them in competitive matches. And what a better way to do it, you know? But you can play friendlies, pre-season friendlies. These are competitive matches. Those players are playing for their futures and for contracts, and he can experiment, and it's a great way to. I like what he said. He's openly admitted it, and that's what he wants to do. Not all managers are very open that way, but he's come out and said it, which is great. But it also, if he does start changing things up, it's also pre-warning the fans. If we go on a little bit of a dip of form in them games, this is a reason why. He's just pre-warning them.
And we've spoken a lot about confidence today, last Tuesday. I'm guessing you spoke about it last Saturday as well. That confidence that is evident from the last few games, how do the players hold on to that and try and bring that into the games and keep that run going?
Winning games, scoring goals. Pretty simple, really. It's what I love. I've seen the media department at Orient have released a few training videos